I think another good point is we always sat down to the dinner table together, all the kids, the whole family for dinner every night. And there was no TV on or anything like that. And so there were discussions, the kids could bring up things. And even when I had to go out afterward, I'd stop and come in for dinner at 6 or 6:30, and I'd go back out and work till dark. But we always had dinner together. Now, you have the kids will grab something and look at the television, somebody else is in a different room. They don't have dinner together anymore.
They don't know anything what's going on.
They don't know what the kids are doing or...
But we, our family has always discussed things. In fact, it's very different for other people's. But Dubois and I have never gotten tired of talking with each other.
Yeah, we do.
We always, and if we don't know something and we've discussed something, we go to the encyclopedia. I know everybody goes to the Google or something now, but we always were seeking out things together. And like I said, when he built the house brick by brick with this adobe, I had designed it, and I designed it so there would be a fireplace in our own bedroom, because I wanted it to have I wanted a romantic. I loved the romanticness of our relationship because we always loved each other, not just respected. There was a thing there
So we
that
made
was
time
really
for ourselves.
yes.
Yeah.
And he always came first. And as far as my time would come, if there was an emergency, of course the children would be first on it. That was understood, but not for just anything. My honey always came first. And if he was going to leave the house and we'd had a little discussion, and then maybe it didn't turn out too well, I'd always wave and say I love you as he was going even out to work or going up into Fresno. And he was the same way. We might not talk a couple of hours, but that didn't make any difference. And a lot of times we'd hold our counsel because we knew it was something else.
But I was going to say, when we were first starting to develop the land, we used cotton and alfalfa before the almond trees. And so I would go out there in the morning at 2 o'clock and bale hay, because you had to wait until it hit the dew point, and the dew would settle on the dry alfalfa and get it just moisture enough to where it would be tough and would bale real good. She would get up at 2 in the morning and make pancakes for me, because I'd be out there for maybe 8 or 9 hours before we'd come in. And things like that makes a lot of difference.
How did you handle disagreements?
We didn't have many disagreements. The only disagreements we had were mostly over the kids. I thought they should study more. And like Marlene there was an absolute television addict. And instead of watching that thing, I thought they should be doing their studies. But except for that, she was more lenient on the kids than I was.
Well, I wanted them to feel like they could come and talk to us if they had any problems, any troubles. And when even I didn't care about how they were bringing them up or what they were saying, I wouldn't stop them right there and tell them what they should do. I would wait till another time, and then I could say, you could think about this and blah, blah, blah. And when we left on any trips, we would always leave a note for each one of the children. It was kind of tough because we might not come back. This was my thinking. I thought, I always want them to know we love them, even if we went away for a minute. This was your little note from us, or this one, this one. And the same thing with Dubois. If I would go away someplace, I would always leave a little love card at his pillow for him when he went into the bedroom. That would be there for him. Our anniversaries and everything. We share little cards. Nobody else gets to see those cards. They're just ours. And it's there again, respect.
Now there are times when couples may get into a little
we
tiff. Then what would happen when that would happen? How did you handle it?
He would be very silent. He would give me the silent treatment for a while. That's all right, because he's a caveman. I never thought anything of it. He just didn't want to talk about it anymore. And the thing is that I recognized that so often when I would go off on a tangent, it had nothing to do with our relationship at all. It had something else to do with frustration or worry or something. And that's when I learned to say, hold your counsel. Because sometimes I would just jump at something that had nothing to do with us or what he was doing. And it was my job I felt, to find a place where he could feel all this that he was doing for us all these days, it was worth it. Anything I had to complain about wasn't worth it. It sounds candy. But if you'd ever seen that he was working those 3 jobs that he had, the surveying and the school and the farming, well, alone was enough. All the other people couldn't have done, nobody could have done
Well, they
what he
wouldn't
did.
do it, they could.
Well, but anyway, that was
Sure paid off in
great
the end,
respect.
though.
Just,
We're
just
sitting here in Carmel.
Did you go to bed angry?
No.
not that I can
No.
remember. Sure, I would lie there and think I would like to have something else done. The children were the only place we would cross, like Dubois says. It's the only place we would cross because I felt that we had to let them make some decisions on their own, and go out there, almost tip off on the other side of the fence, so to speak, on some of these things. And we were always ahead of them. When they thought they were kidding us, we always had we knew, and they felt, boy, that they've got ears and eyes that I don't know where that comes from, but we trick them every time, and they got kind of paranoid almost.
Well, we knew him so well because we
Yeah.
always had dinner together.
Yeah.
The family sat down for dinner every night without fail. So we knew the kids.
We talked about it off camera, but on camera, how did you keep romance alive?
Okay. Well, of course, there again, I felt that was something I wanted to do because he was so busy. And I would tip down little articles and magazines so that he had just that amount of time to read something, so he'd have something to talk about in front of. When the children would go to bed, we would sit in front of the fire and maybe cook little slivers of steak or have fondue or something, or a little glass of wine or a little glass of something special. And we would sit there and talk with pretty music on really late and let the embers go down. And like I said, we had the dinners in our bedroom. We would go on these very small trips that we'd go to San Francisco. We had it planned. We could do more in a night and a day in San Francisco than everybody could believe, because it was we had it kind of planned, and the children were out of our minds as far as anything was concerned as far as that moment. Because we were who we were. We were 2 people that loved each other, and we enjoyed that time together. He was always willing to go anywhere I would plan.
Oh yes, she'd plan the trips and I'd fly it. That made it really nice. Yeah.
Now, I know women who will go to the store in pajamas.
Oh
Have you,
yeah.
I mean, where this little small town, Oklahoma, you've seen them in pajama pants, slippers. Now, tell us.
Every
yeah.
day, every morning, and even
She was
at Vic,
always.
I was always as if I was going to go to Fresno. Not really, but I mean, I was dressed like I am
Yeah.
right now, just nice, and my face and my teeth and everything are
Yeah,
all,
was-
and my hair. So that this is what he remembers as he just goes out on the ranch, out on the farm, and works those 6 or 8 hours. And he knows he's got somebody, he can think of me instead of this cute thing that was on the movie picture show or something. And I really wanted to always make him grateful that he asked me to marry him. That was the truth,
Does that work?
because I admired him so very much.
The biggest secret is I married a quality person. That makes it a lot easier. When you have quality with you, gee, how can you lose?